We look at where we are today in content creation, and the remarkable thing is that we're moving at hyper speed. Lars, I thought our conversation with you was interesting when we talked about the move from analog to digital music. And you had seen some seminal moments since about 2005 in your industry. Can you talk about that?
Well, yeah, actually it goes back a little further than that, but you know, essentially what in the last, I've been doing this for about, well, almost 20 years now. And when I started out, I was doing CD-ROMs and things like that, and my fundamental job description would change every 2 years. That accelerated by about 2000 to about every 18 months, and then by about 2005, it was down to about 6 months. Now it's down to about 3 to 6 months, and that's because in 2005, two things happened. One was the explosion of social media, which was then MySpace and is now obviously Facebook, Twitter, and 100 other apps. And the other thing was YouTube. And those two things hit just about the same time. They weren't launched all exactly at the same time, but that's when they started to affect all the decision making that we made at a record label.
So there was a real confluence that occurred at that time.
Yeah, a huge confluence, and I mean, it was an explosion, and it sort of exponentially changed the way we had to look at things. Just the growth and the ability of people to create just exploded at that point.
We've also since then moved from desktops to handheld devices, smartphones that have changed our lives.
Yeah, and that, I mean, the mobile thing has been going on obviously for years, but it's only really in the last couple of years that mobile has started to drive you know, really core decision making. I mean, ringtones were a big business for the music industry throughout the last decade, but it's really...
Ringtones were a big... Remember when that was...
Ringtones, I remember ringtones, yeah.
That seems like it was just yesterday. So we're evolving, and we're evolving at hyper speed. Jason, I wanted you to lend some context to that.
Just hearing you talk about the sort of ubiquitous way that people all of a sudden could be creatives, you know, the barriers for entry for creating content have been going down significantly on the back of Moore's Law. And you know, I spent 5 years hosting a show for Current TV, which is Al Gore's cable channel that's in the news now for having been sold to Al Jazeera. The last draws of a network that never quite made it. But here's the interesting thing. Current launched in early 2005, pre-YouTube, on the back of this idea that everybody could be a creator, that the citizens could take back the media, create their own media, citizen journalism, user-generated content, etc., etc. But they picked the wrong substrate. They decided to be a cable TV channel that was going to be all democratic like the internet was supposed to be, because cable still offered them a business model of distribution agreements and so on and so forth. But if they would have focused on the web, they could have been YouTube. And who could argue today that YouTube is a much more valuable company than Current ended up being, even with that hefty price tag? So that's an interesting thing. They were ahead of their time mentally, but then in practice, they went with an old school substrate. They went cable TV business instead of the web.
Well, they were also probably hamstrung by the fact that as a cable TV thing, they had to play by copyright rules too. But
right, absolutely. So that they had to be more restrictions on the viewer-created content because people had to clear every piece of image they were using, so you couldn't do like all the fair use stuff that you can get away with on the web.